Hi guys. I have a word for someone. I received this word yesterday. And here's the thing. This word is bittersweet. Bittersweet depending on what it relates to. You'll know exactly what it relates to because you've asked God this question. You've prayed about it. Okay, like God, how much longer? And I want to give you guys some analogies to let you know that this word is not as bitter as you may think it is. Every word is good, but the reason why I say bittersweet is sometimes we get words from God. God is very honest and God is very truthful. And sometimes we get words from God where we're like, God, man, why? You know what I mean? And it's literally like, God, lean not on your own understanding. God understands a lot more behind the scenes than we do, right? But you may see it in more of like oh man, I got to continue going through this, not realizing that you may be receiving something in the midst of it. Not only are you going to receive strength and humbleness, but also a lot of wisdom. And it's not to say God is not going to bless you in the midst of you being patient and waiting for this, okay? So somebody asked God something or prayed about something and asked God about the length of the time. Either when is it going to happen or how long is it going to take, basically. I'm not sure what the exact prayer was, but I literally heard the response yesterday. I was cleaning my garage and I heard the Lord say, a few more years. Let me just make sure that's the exact words because I wrote it down. Either he said a couple of years or a few more years. I think he said a few more years. Let me see. Let's see what it is. I think it's a few more years. A couple of years. That's what he said. A couple of years. A couple of years. Now, I know you're probably like, man, God. The reason why God pushed me today to explain a bunch of analogies to you is so you understand it's not as bad as you may think it is, okay? Let me give you an example. We are now in June. The year literally just started. We just left 2022. We were just in 2022. I just want you guys to really just pay attention to how quick 2022 has passed, how quick 2023 is passing us already. We're already halfway through the year. Do you see what I'm saying? Look how fast that was, right? Just last year we were in 2022 and we were just in the beginning of 2022. It feels like just yesterday we were in the beginning of 2022. And like I said, look how fast we have come to 2023. So I just wanted to share that portion to let you see just how fast time is actually passing by. Okay, so 2 years is gonna come like that. Okay, you're gonna be distracted throughout the year with many things that to the point where when it's actually time to come, you're like, wow, I'm so happy. I also want to mention that, the longer the wait, the more beautiful that whatever God has for you, it's going to be worth the wait. You see what I'm saying? It's better to wait for something and to receive full purity of something and to receive God's full, blessing, full promise to you rather than, not being patient and going in the wrong direction or receiving something that's not going to have any type of longevity. Do you get what I'm saying? I also want to explain something to you because I'm not sure what it relates to. I want to explain that sometimes God will bless you in the midst of waiting for something. Sometimes you will receive blessings along the way. Let's just say that God gave you a business idea and he showed you that your business was going to bring in generational wealth for your family, and you may have been someone that came from suffering and poverty and you're like, God, I'm tired of going through this. Like, I want to be able to come out of struggling. I want to be able to provide for my future children, my future family, or my children or my family if you already have children in the family. And this business has taken so long, God. I've already been running this business for a year and it's still not taking off, or I've already been running this business for 2 months, it's not taking off, or I didn't even start yet. I don't want to wait a whole 2 years until I'm able to see the full prophecy that you showed me. This is just an example. To see the full prophecy that you showed, let's just say that God showed you the prophecy and it's like your business is just booming. I want to remind you that just because he showed you the prophecy of your business like booming does not mean that throughout the years to come or throughout the months until you get to the 2-year mark, that does not mean you won't reap any type of rewards. God may show you the end all prophecy where your business is so big that it's worldwide. Everyone's buying from it, right? But before you get there, you may be getting about 300 sales a month, 400 sales a month, and that's still good. So in your mind, you're thinking that, oh, there's no point in me working on this. 2 more years. I can't wait 2 more years, God. This is going to take too long. Not realizing that God was still going to bless you in between the wait, in between that time frame. It's just not to the extent that he's going to bless you when it gets to that time frame, but he's still going to bless you in between. You get what I'm saying? I use that as an analogy because I want people to understand that just because God says, you know, hey, the prophecy is going to come through 2 years from now or 3 years from now, you know, whatever he said, 2 years in this case, it doesn't mean that in between that you're going to just not receive anything. Yeah, in between that, you're going to receive blessings that lead to that outcome, because like every other business or anything you do in life, consistency is key. Dedication, humbleness, showing up is key. So you still have to show up, you still have to be persistent, you still have to do all that to get to that result in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So you doing that along the way, you're going to see progression. You're going to see progression. If it's like a marriage you're waiting for or relationship, this is another example. God may show you your kingdom partner and say, okay, this may be relating to the 2 years. You're like, man, God, I don't want to wait 2 more years to be with him or be with her. But what you may not realize is if God showed you guys getting married in 2 years, that does not mean that in between that time frame, you're not going to be together. It may be a situation where maybe the rest of this year you're not together, and then it hits 2023 and you guys now start dating. You guys now start talking on the phone for about a couple of months, 3-4 months, and you guys start dating, you know, and by the summertime next year. And then, you know, you get engaged by the rest of the year, 2023, and then by the ending of 2024 or mid 2024, you're getting married, which confirms the 2 years. So it doesn't mean you're not going to receive anything in between that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we're so focused on the end all be all outcome, we don't even pay attention to the blessings that God has given us in the moment. You see? Thank you, Holy Spirit. We don't even pay attention to the blessings we're receiving in the moment because we're so focused on the outcome. We're so focused on the deadline and the time frame and all that. But God, most of the times, he doesn't usually give us time frames because we're impatient. We're impatient. But when he does give us time frames, you know that it's for a reason, right? So the fact that he said did he say a few more years or a couple more years? I think he said a couple more years. The fact he said a couple more years means that that's when things will probably, how it relates to you, it may even be the warfare dying down completely in a couple of years, and you may be like, man, are you serious? I don't want to know. But really and truly, what God may be saying is like, yeah, the warfare will die down at this time in a couple of years, but at the same time, in between that, you're being trained, you're being strengthened, you're growing, and in between that, you are collecting your testimony. You are collecting wisdom. You are collecting information from me for your testimony. Like, that's what God is saying to you. Like, hey, how are you going to have a testimony if you don't go through any experiences? Right? So remember that as well, okay? I'm going to read this scripture for you because he had me in James yesterday, child. So this is James 5, verse 10, okay? Brothers and sisters, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. As you know, we count as blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. That is saying, you know, you have to remember that in the midst of suffering, right? God is very merciful and God is very loving. And even though we're suffering, it's basically saying you saw what God did for Job after his suffering. If God said something is for you, believe it's for you, and you're not going through all of this for vain. As long as you're following the instructions and being obedient, doing what he told you to do, there's something at the end of this for you. Well, Job had to go through. Remember how patient Job was even when he went through a suffering. He was patient. Yeah, he complained, he was frustrated and all that, but he was very patient in the midst of his suffering. You see what I'm saying? So that is reminding you that God is so merciful. He's not going to let you just go through all this. So of course, you're going to come out with a testimony. That God giving you a testimony out of this, that's a blessing alone, because your testimony will save lives. You see what I'm saying? That testimony will save lives. Best believe that. It doesn't have to be anything materialistic. It can just be the wisdom, the knowledge, being stronger in your gift, and the testimony alone is a blessing. Okay? Look how merciful God was with Job. What makes you think God won't be as merciful with you and you're going through similar sufferings? May not be the exact same things, but you're going through afflictions like Job went through afflictions. You get what I'm saying? So remember that. Being patient in the midst of your suffering, being humble, still loving God, and still having faith in the midst of your suffering. Oh my gosh. To be that type of person, do you know how beautiful that is? Do you know how beautiful that is? Oh my goodness. Anyways, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.